Prologue. British Museum, London, 1810. Hestia Wright, formerly known as first of England's fashionably impure, once crowned Queen of Europe's courtesans, was more than passing familiar with the evils of man. In her long and notorious career, she'd witnessed a disheartening number of the tactics men used to rain ruin and destruction down upon each other, and every one they habitually brought to bear against the fairer sex. These experiences had unerringly altered her fate. Now she was in the business of altering the fate of others. She found great satisfaction in offering shelter and opportunity for women left with neither. She relished her reputation as a champion for all women suffering under society's often harsh and unjust tyranny. But the burdens that came with such a life were heavy. They could, if unchecked, skew her toward a woeful imbalance of spirits. She counted the effect with the occasional rare day to herself, and she often spent those days here, in the British Museum. Here she could experience the other side of the coin. Here she could forget her worries and indulge in the strange and the wondrous. Anonymous amongst the crowds, she could enjoy history, art and artifacts, and let herself wallow for once in the beauty wrought by man. Today was meant to be such a holiday. Today, though, her vocation had followed her to the museum, and not once, it appeared, but twice. The first case had come to her attention early in the day. Several times throughout this visit she'd encountered the little girl, usually in and about the natural history rooms. Reasonably well dressed and shod, she showed no tendency to be loud, to run about weaving amongst the throngs as other children did. No, this appealing little scholar studied the displays intently, seemingly fascinated with anything related to exotic and foreign animals. And always she appeared to be utterly alone. Right now she stood at the top of the grand staircase, focused on the ragtag trio of preserved giraffes standing guard over the landing. And still there was no sign of a parent, sibling, or even a servant tasked with the watching of her. Hestia's second concern had also come to roost on the landing. Quite an unusually pretty young woman, she'd also wandered the museum alone today. In contrast, though, Hestia had never seen her pay a moment's attention to any of the treasures in the buildings. All of her awareness remained centred on the people moving through the many rooms, and as the afternoon faded, so did the young lady's countenance. She stood now at the top of the stairs, examining faces as they moved up and down, passing to and from the entrance hall below. A pendant watch, fairly expensive, hung from her waist. She checked it often, her shoulders drooping further as each newcomer failed to be the person she so obviously awaited. Hestia's instincts told her that both of these females needed her. She moved forward, her mind already awhirl, conjuring the right words and options for the future. But something gave her pause. She looked between them once more. Perhaps what they needed was each other. Hestia had long ago learned the wisdom of listening to her inner promptings. Smiling, she stepped forward again.